And they're mad. They're angry. The wokies are not taking this well from Pixar. IndieWire has this by Wilson Chapman. No, Pixar does not need to give up autobiographical stories. They called them therapy movies. You remember that? This is an example, folks, of the anger that is boiling up, bubbling up, percolating into the conversational sphere by those who hold dear the values of wokeism, especially in kids' content, because how else are you going to propagandize the kids, right? All right, here's what they got to say about it. Get ready. This past week was an odd one for Pixar. On one hand, the company scored a pretty sizable win in the first weekend of their new film Hoppers, which opened to $46 million domestically. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that escape me? $46 million, a big win. Come on. With healthy reviews and good word of mouth, the film will likely have decent legs and prove a sizable hit for the company. Till Mario comes. God, good Lord, folks. This thing cost them. They need $300 million to break even on it, okay? That's all I'm going to say. And they're celebrating $46 million domestically. And they get half of that back. This made the dour tone, the Wall Street Journal profile, the studio's chief Pete Docter, which was published this Friday and got widely shared on social media, feel slightly surreal. Well, the only reason it feels surreal to the author of this is because they don't watch this channel or the Pro channel or Culture Casino or follow the Bradley's Fun. If they did, they would understand that celebrating $46 million, a mediocre opening, the second worst adjusted for inflation for Pixar, celebrating that is insane. But that's the narrative. But it's insane if you actually do it logically. Okay? So the reason the Wall Street Journal is putting out a dour synopsis of what's happening at Pixar is because, wait for this, folks, wait for it. It's dour. It turns out that this nonsense about Hoppers being a big-time box office win is just silly. But guess what? Now they're angry, and they're angry because what Mr. Doctor said, the head of Pixar. The central crux behind the piece is how an attempt to remain afloat and find a hit Pixar under Doctor, who the reporter characterizes as a very reluctant leader, who only took the job out of necessity, of course, is focusing on universal stories, as opposed to ones that are personal to the artist behind them. This has been reported before, but the Wall Street Journal story goes deeper into how pandemic-era releases like Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, as well as films like Elemental and Elio, are seen as failures internally by a company searching for a franchise to pin its future on. What, we're not going to mention Lightyear or Strange World? We're not going to talk about those? By the way, Turning Red, they like to claim that this didn't go to theaters and that's why it failed. Turning Red did not go to theaters because Disney yanked it at the last minute and used the pandemic as an excuse. It was supposed to go to theaters. It was coming out at a time when other movies were out in theaters doing well. Spider-Man No Way Home. Turning Red was yanked because the company got a hold of it and said, oh my gosh, we're making an allegory for menstruation. And we're putting, no, the little girl wins by defeating her mother by twerking in her mother's, no, we are not going to put that in theaters. And of course, that defended it, right? According to the story, the belief is those films failed to take off because audiences struggled to relate to them. Movies like Turning Red and Elemental come from Asian directors Dami Shi and Peter Sohn. This is how they'll defend it, by the way. It's not that one of these films is an allegory for menstruation and for puberty and twerking at your mother is how you defeat her. No. It's that the directors are Asian. That's because it's always that. Both of whom drew from their childhoods and families while making the movies. Luca also drew from director Enrico Casarosa's childhood in Italy. There's nothing wrong with Luca. It's a poor man's Little Mermaid. But a central scene in the piece is Doctor gathering Pixar staff in late 2023 for a meeting in which he bluntly told the staff to look for more broadly commercial hooks over quote-unquote autobiographical stories. Now, this goes on to really go after Pete Docter and Pixar because they're furious that the strategy has changed. It says in a quote that generated some controversy, Docter explained that parents don't want to have conversations with kids about weirdness and that we're making a movie, not hundreds of millions of dollars of therapy. It's a depressing attitude, one that my coworker Chris O'Falt wrote about in a piece unpacking the studio's rocky history with the LGBT reps. It's also bluntly insane to hear coming from the man who made Inside Out. They are not happy. They want this kind of content to continue, MJ. They want parents to be forced to talk about this kind of stuff after they leave the theaters. They don't want parents to have the time and the choosing when they talk to their kids about the birds and the bees and how different people, have views about all this stuff. They want to preempt it They're mad that Pixar is getting away from it. But the difference in a woke film for kids and a non-woke film is insane. Lightyear and Strange World struggle to make $100 million versus you can make $1 billion if you scrub it out of Inside Out 2. So MJ, they're angry. We knew they were going to be angry. Your thoughts now on the backlash aimed at Pixar by those who want to indoctrinate kids?
Oh, they can be angry all they want, and we will. The parents that have the I don't know, how do I say this? Let me just be really careful. For those that are conservative and have beliefs similar to myself, for example, we're a Christian family, we're conservatives, and we do not believe in the things that have been pushed down and forced upon us. I would never give them my money. I would rather wait for it to go on Disney Plus and watch it. Me and my better half. We're just not going to condone any kind of nonsense. And it brings up such a good point. Remember that movie, Ron, that you were talking about the other day that had no publicity whatsoever. It didn't have any wokeness in it, and it just didn't have that good commercialism to push it out. The goat. I would rather give them my money than Pixar. As much as I love Disney and I grew up with Disney and all this and this and that, that whole thing about A Strange World and Elio. I don't know about the Elios movie because I didn't even entertain that. We watched it for 5 minutes and turned it off. It's just boring. And I thought Luca was cute, but they cannot continue to do these things. They're learning now, and they can be upset all they want. But the majority of parents out there are just not ready to have those conversations with little children. We're talking about kids under the age of 12. I mean, why should we have to? There's just no need for any of that. We just need to get back to good, clean family fun, a good story, and I think someone made a very good point in the live chat. They need to make a public notice and apologize to John Lasseter and bring him back. I don't know how that would even work out, but they need to bring him back, and they desperately need it. The numbers speak for themselves. Mm-hmm.
He's working for the Ellisons now. Why would he want to? I mean, he doesn't want to come work for this Disney company that did him that way. He gave them all the success in the world, and they fired him for hugging, not inappropriately hugging, just for hugging. This is the real reason why they have to change now. Yeah. Super Mario Galaxy movie is orbiting 160 plus on the 5-day. We are hearing right now that it's actually increased over the weekend, and now the projections are getting to 180.
Yep.
180. It looks good. I mean, all the ads look great.
Clean. It looks clean.
Right. And so real quick though, if it's a 1-to-1 on the domestic and the international, this is just the domestic. If that's a 1-to-1, if we have just the same amount on the international, which is what we would at least expect, culture, that would be a 360 if it's 180. That'd be a $360 million opening. And the way that you do that is you just make something everybody enjoys and don't get into divisiveness with kids' content. It's insanely simple. It's insane. These people would make Bambi want to be, with other species at this point. I mean, it's crazy what they want to do, but all you got to do is just make something everybody can enjoy, and you can print millions and billions of dollars. Go ahead, Culture.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. And look, I mean, all I'm going to say is this: they can track all these numbers based on pre-sales. Pre-sales kind of set the bar for what the expectation is of the opening. You've been able to buy these tickets for a while, but this original story, this original number that Pro just brought up was from, I think, the 6th of March. We were at the 16th of March. That was 10 days ago. These numbers are going to be refined upwards. It also is embarrassing for Disney that they had to make all of the coverage of this particular film be about a whole string of caveats that would give you the false impression that this is just the best animated movie ever. It's the biggest movie of the year so far. And again, why are they phrasing it that way? Because they know it's about to get shellacked by something that is, truly desired by the audience. Well, it was an original film. No, it wasn't. It was Avatar all over again. Hoppers is garbage. This is, again, this restructures an argument amount. If you make a good film, something that people can look forward to, and you are trusted, you'll get the benefit of the doubt from the public, and they'll show up to see your animated film. Do you know who's trusted right now? And this is bizarre to me. Is it's not Disney? It's other companies.
Japan, right? It's culturally, right? So your culture casino. It's Korea. It's Japan. That's where Americans now put their trust that they can watch stuff and it'll harken back to the Western hits.
You know how heartbreaking it was to get we really got let down when they did. Remember Lightyear, how exciting it was at first, because who doesn't like Buzz Lightyear? But then once you realize what it was so bad. I remember that year my son had a birthday party. We got Lightyear toys and Lightyear, stuff. I will not condone the devil's work. I threw it in the trash afterwards when everyone left. I didn't even want to put it in a Goodwill because I'm not going to pass it on in a Goodwill. I'm not. It went in the garbage because I don't want anything like that around my son. I don't want. And it was just, they could have done so much with that movie. They could have done a better job, and they chose to do what they did with it. And the numbers speak for themselves, and they should be embarrassed and upset.
Isn't there also a certain irony in the fact that the people that threw John Lasseter out for hugging are also the same people that have this kind of strange ideology, if you will, that want to push a certain thing on kids, a certain ideology, a certain point of view, and yet they themselves can't deal with hugs. Like, I have a hard time wrapping my head around what people pick and choose to be offended by in this situation. It's just, and also I noticed that none of those articles went into the very specific thing where we saw that one lady behind the scenes who said, what did she admit to, having a not so secret gay agenda when it came to creating LGBT 50%. She wanted LGBT content and 50% of kids' content. I'm like, that's which is way higher than society. And it shouldn't be in kids' content anyway. And the people arguing it that it should be, we see Prince and Princesses kiss. Well, yeah, most kids grow up in a household with a mom and dad. Right. Vast majority. I'm sorry, the numbers are what they are, people. It just is what it is.
Next, you're going to tell us how kids happen, Ronnie. Easy now. The kids out there that are listening, they're going to figure it out.
I'm just saying.
Storks and stuff.
The numbers are what they are. There are societal averages across thousands of years of human history that back up, traditional families. So, it is what it is. And I just wish that they would get back to traditional storytelling. And I know it's not Pixar, but how about, here's a crazy idea. Why doesn't a Mickey Mouse company have a movie starring Mickey Mouse? What a weird idea that would be.
Well, because they're terrified to put Mickey Mouse out there because their content creators would ruin Mickey Mouse on the big screen. Folks, real quick, though, I do want to just remind you, so that we dissuade anybody who's gone insane and thinks that Hoppers is doing well. Maybe you listen to the mainstream media. Maybe you were paying attention to the dinosaurs. Tell grandma and grandpapa that this is what's really going on. I don't care what they say. Hoppers, as of right now, according to the numbers, still has yet to cross the $90 million mark after 2 weekends. Still has yet to cross the $90 million mark for a Pixar film. Okay? And guess what? It's got one more week, and then Mario's here. All right? Now, if we don't have the international numbers, unfortunately, right now, but if Hoppers is doing a 1-to-1, then this thing is still not at 200 million. All right? It needs $300 million to break even. Really probably needs more than that, but we'll give it to that. Okay, it doesn't. It needs $500 million. No, don't say it, bro. Don't say it. This thing is flop-tacular, and they are doing everything they can to pretend otherwise. But that's why you're getting these two stories. You're getting the stories about Hoppers is the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the greatest thing since Coco. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. It's the greatest thing since Pan de Muerto. And at the same time, we're changing everything at Pixar. We promise. Totally. Believe us. Everything's going to be different now. That's what's going down. That's what's happening. Folks, we'll keep paying attention to it, but the backlash is going to be for real. They're angry they can't get into your kids' heads anymore, at least for another year or two.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the video. Remember, this Wednesday is the Disney shareholders meeting. Coverage live on the Pro Channel begins at 10 a.m. this Wednesday. Also, friends, if you'd like to join us for MegaCon, we'll have a booth set up for you to join. Info on the screen. Come see Marvin, Lorne, and maybe one more at MegaCon, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Friday. We'll see you. Thanks for being here. You're the Gigawatts.